Okay, so this is my screencast for my third CA. So I'm going to start with my plan. So my plan for the game was to be set in a castle in medieval England. You were going to be a monk and your friend was captured, so now it was up to you to go to the castle and fight through the castle to try and save him. And as you go through the castle, you'll be faced by the soldiers of the king and you'll have to defeat them. So for the map, I was going to do 7 rooms, so you'll start outside the castle, and from there you can go only one way into the main corridor, and from the main corridor is where you can go into all 4 directions. If you go south, you go back outside. If you go north, you will end up on the landing, and from the landing you can go east and west, and you'll end up in either the dungeon or the dining room. If you go east, you'll end up in the kitchen, and from the kitchen you can go to the dining room or back to the corridor, and from the corridor, if you go west, you'll end up in the living area, and from the living area you can go to the dungeon or back into the corridor. So for the players' interaction with the objects, they'll be able to pick them up and use them, so they can pick up swords to fight with. They interact with the enemies by fighting with them. You'll fight until either the enemy dies or you die. The way I wanted the fighting to work is that you'll run into an enemy and you'll be given the fight or run away. If you pick run, you'll have a certain chance of being able to run, and if you cannot, then you'll be given the choice again. If you choose to fight and your agility is higher than the enemies, you will get hit first, or you will get the first hit, sorry, and then if the enemy's agility is higher, they'll get to hit first. And to work out how much damage is done, I got the hit points and multiplied them by your strength and then divided them by 2. For the player class, the player will have a name, health, agility and strength attributes. There'll be a print function in it which will print out all your attributes, and there'll be a save function which will save the player's details to a text file. The object class will have a name and description. There will be a pickup function which will allow you to pick it up and add it to your inventory, and the enemy class will have all the same attributes as the player class. The choice of data structures for the login system, I used a hash table because it's best suited for sparse data. For the player's inventory, I used a vector because I didn't want it to be a set size for the inventory, so a vector will grow in size. And in the rooms, I was going to use an array to store the items that are in the room. So now my main code. So in the main, you just call, there's a login function, and then in the login I set up a hash table. So you're given the choice to either log in or register. If you choose to log in, you need to enter your password and your name, and then it'll save it. It'll check to make sure that your name's there. If you're not already there, it'll tell you have to register, and if you are there, you can log in. And here to register, you need to put in your name and password, and it inserts a new item into the hash table with your name and password. So if your login is successful here, it goes to the game function, and this is the name that it'll pass in. So in here you have the game, a name passed into it, which will be the player's name. So I create a new player with the name that passed in and a health of 20 and everything else is 0. So at the start it prints out your stats and then allows you to distribute 15 points in between them. So it'll ask you where you want to put your points, so you can pick either your hit points, agility or strength, and it'll allow you to add whatever you want to it as long as you have points left. So you have 15 points at the start and you use points. So if you don't have enough you want to add, it tells you you don't have enough left and makes you start again. And then it'll save your player data to a text file, and then it starts you outside the castle. So it gives you the options to either move, check your inventory or exit. So if you move, you end up in the first room of the castle where there's a sword that you can either pick up or leave, and if you pick it up you get attacked. And then my fighting system comes in, that if your agility is higher than the enemy's agility, you get the first hit, and then they hit you, so that just keeps going until one of you die. And if you have less agility, then the enemy hits you first, and it does the same, it keeps going until you die. And if you choose to your inventory, I have a display function which will display the inventory, and if you choose exit, it saves your data first and then exits. So here's my display. It just has a iterator through the vector and prints out each item. So now I'll show it running. Okay, so first you're given the choice to either log in and register. So if you choose log in first, then it says enter your name. So I'll put in Paul. It says you need to register because you're not in the table already. So we go 2 for register. Put in Paul, password. Now if I go to log in, it finds me and it asks me for my password. I put my password in, login successful, and it starts the game. So here it's passed in the name, so it knows what player is playing. So now I can distribute my 15 points. So if I give 5 to each, my agility and my strength gets 5. That's all my 15 points. So it starts me outside the castle. So I go to move, I'm in the first room. Yeah, I'll pick up the sword, and now you're being attacked, and the enemy died. So that's it. So if I check my inventory, there's a sword in it. That's from when I picked it up. And if I find the text file that I saved the player data to, it should show me my hit points, health, strength, and agility. So here's my player data file. So at the moment it's fallen, it has 20. So after that fight, if I exit the game, I should have less health. So if I go exit, and now if I check that again, it should have taken my health down and saved it. Yeah, so I'm down to 14 health points. So it'll keep saving the player data. And also for the room, I've loaded the room from a text file. Here, this is loading in the room from the text file. So that's it.